Oh,
Hey, you okay?
oh, some damn enchiladas.
Welcome to my favorite and least favorite things in Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. All right, so A New Beginning was released in 1985. It's the fifth movie in the franchise. And of course, we get to meet Roy Burns in this movie. Good old Roy, or as some people like to call him, Imposter Jason, Fake Jason, whatever you want to call him. But also, by the way, if you're wondering, why isn't this called the best and worst of? Well, there was some kind of like overlapping content sort of with some other content creators, and just out of respect for them, I've kind of rebranded this a bit to favorite, least favorite, but it's going to be very, very similar. Some new fresh stuff coming a little bit later, but still same fun content in a way. So just wanted to give you a heads up why it's labeled something different for this video series, but still going to be fun. But how was 1985 for horror when this movie was released? Well, 1985 was pretty solid. So we've got Day of the Dead, which came out in 1985, Reanimator. We've got Fright Night, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Silver Bullet, and Return of the Living Dead, just to name a few movies there. So pretty solid year, 1985 for horror. So this movie, kind of like Halloween 3, it's almost, labeled the Halloween 3 of the Friday the 13th franchise. We don't, like Halloween 3, doesn't have Michael Myers in it. In this movie, it doesn't technically have Jason in it, right? It's got a dude cosplaying as Jason, a madman running around slaughtering people, essentially. So, it's still kind of Jason in a way, but fake Jason, and kind of has those similarities with Halloween 3 in a way. So this movie was directed by Danny Steinman, who got his start in a word that rhymes with schmorn, and as a writer and director of the movie called High Rise from 1973. Nice little schmorn movie called High Rise. You get it? Okay, moving on. This was actually the last movie that Danny Steinman directed. He directed 4 movies. 1 schmorn, 2 slashers, and then 1 action crime movie with actually Linda Blair in it called Savage Streets, which apparently was so bloody and gruesome that it was banned in Australia, apparently. So if you've seen that movie, let me know in the comments down below. How was it? But yeah, so that's a little bit about Danny Steinman right there, the director of this movie. So Danny even has said about this movie that before they cut it down, before they cut down the nude scenes, this was essentially like a schmorno in the woods. So A New Beginning. Some of you are familiar with this, and that's essentially kind of what it was. So now let's run down the plot of A New Beginning. So the plot essentially is this. Still haunted by his past, Tommy Jarvis, who as a child killed Jason Voorhees, is sent to a secluded halfway house in the countryside, where the killing of a young man triggers a brutal series of murders in the area. So in this movie, we do get Corey Feldman back. We have Tommy Jarvis in both kind of ways in this movie, but in the intro, we get a little Corey Feldman cameo, which is fun, and kind of helps us to kind of pick up after the events of part 4 in a way, because at the end of part 4, of course, we get that zoom in of Corey Feldman's face with the evil look, oh, did the evil consume him after everything that happened? Who knows, right? And now we fast forward all these years later with this new older Tommy Jarvis, right? So Corey Feldman was busy at the time during this movie filming The Goonies. So he actually filmed the scene in the opening, his cameo kind of a thing. Actually, 2 places have been talked about where it was filmed, either at his parents' house in LA or it was a neighbor's house in LA. Regardless, they just filmed it at somebody's house in their backyard and turned on a rain machine, basically. That's how that scene was filmed with him, because he just had to do it quickly because he was busy with other stuff. So that's kind of interesting. So this movie was made for $2.2 million and made $22 million. And so it was pretty financially successful, but overall people were like, where's Jason? We want Jason back. Even though fake Jason Roy Burns was it's kind of like Jason, let's be honest here, guys. It's essentially Jason, you know what I mean, in a way, but still, people wanted Jason. I actually enjoy this movie. Is this my favorite Friday the 13th movie in the franchise? No, probably not, but I think the kills are solid in this movie. We definitely get some gore. We definitely get some of course there's some sleaziness in this movie as well, but the characters overall are bananas. There's just some crazy fun characters in this movie. We get some lines that are funny in this movie, which we'll talk about, of course. in my favorite, least favorite section. But, this movie has good kills. I like Roy Burns' character. I like the overall just look of Jason, the mask with the blue on it. Enjoy that, always have. We'll talk about that more a little bit in a second, a little bit more. But overall, I think this movie's fun. It definitely feels just like a fun Friday the 13th movie. Reminds me of a lot of the lower budget slashers that I've come to love from the 80s. And I have a good time with this movie. I don't understand the hate for this movie. I think it does a lot of things well, regardless of having technically Jason in it or not. But anyways, enough of all that. Let's get into my favorite and least favorite things in Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. So starting us off with favorite location in the movie. So for me, it's actually going to be the diner that we see for a minute. I'm a sucker for diners. Love diners. Okay, guys, relax. But love diners, that whole scene where Billy picks up Lana at the diner. I wish we could have gotten more at the diner. I'm just a sucker for diners. Anytime I go to like a new small town, I'm going across America in a car, I try to go to as many diners as I can. I don't know, there's just something all-American about diners, and there's something all-American about Friday the 13th, in my opinion. So, the diner, love that location. Least favorite location in A New Beginning, for me, it's Ethel's shithole of a house. That place just smells like feet. You know what I mean? So, Ethel's house, it's gotta be that. But, so, talked about this a little bit already, but favorite character in A New Beginning. So for me, like I already said, there are bizarre, crazy, fun, wild characters throughout this entire movie, which helps the movie to feel different and kind of helps the movie to feel like not as boring, as some of the characters in the rest of the franchise, which can kind of be boring. But to me, Reggie the Reckless. Love Reggie in this movie. He's a great child actor, has done some great things before and after this movie. But Reggie the Reckless, just a character you root for, is a badass at the end of the movie, like is brave when he needs to be, despite being also like scared shitless at times. He's a funny character. The whole like dynamic with his brother is great. I love that. But Reggie's just a great character. One of the better side characters in this entire franchise, in my opinion. But his brother Demon's also great too. Gives us some fun moments as well. Great character as well. But yeah, Reggie the Reckless, favorite character in A New Beginning. So least favorite character in A New Beginning for me, Junior Hubbard, Ethel's son. He's annoying, a little over the top, ridiculous. But then you've also got that completely worthless character, Raymond, that shows up to Ethel's house. Has to like shovel out the chicken coop shit or whatever just to get a meal. That guy just shows up and then gets killed. I guess just pads the death count on this movie a little bit more. That's pretty much it. But to me, my least favorite character in A New Beginning is Eddie. The guy who has the sex in the movie, gets all the ass in the movie. But Eddie, he just has a very punchable face. We all have people that we look at and we're like, you have a very punchable face. For you, it might be me. I might have a very punchable face for you, and I understand. I've gotten that before. But, he's a dick to Tommy. He, like, plays a prank on him. He's like, come on, man. Hey, Chief. He's kind of, he's just the guy. You just want to punch in the face. So, yeah, least favorite character in A New Beginning is Eddie for me. So, all right, let's move on to favorite line in A New Beginning for me. So, there's a few. This movie's got some ridiculous over-the-top lines that are funny, and but we get. There's the line where Anita, Demon's girlfriend, says, "Are you okay?" And Demon's like, "It's them damn enchiladas." Iconic, great moment in the movie, the enchilada scene, and of course that leads us into the poo-poo duet that we get, which is so ridiculous between two of them, singing and shitting. Right?
Hey, baby.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby.
And then Ethel, of course, has a few, like when she says to Junior, "You big dildo, eat your fucking slop." Calling him a dildo, that's always a good time. And then when what's his face, Raymond or whatever, shows up at her door and she's like, "Oh shit, who the fuck are you and what the fuck do you want?" Funny line, that's classic. But also, does anyone else think, so when Billy pulls up to the diner and he's waiting for his girl. Does anyone, I feel like Billy right there sounds like Bill Murray in Caddyshack when he says, and the forecast is cloudy in the mountains, sunny in the valleys, and snow flurries up your nose. Kind of sounds like Bill Murray in Caddyshack right there to me for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it was inspired by that. I don't know. But so least favorite line in A New Beginning. For me, it's Pete. When Pete, well, it's the interaction between Pete and Vinny. When Pete says, get this done by the time I get back. I got to take a crap. And Vinny says, crap my ass. And then Pete says, just do it, man. I mean it. Crap my ass. I don't know. Least favorite line of the movie. Terrible acting. That's probably the reason why. But yeah, ridiculous scene. But favorite kill in A New Beginning. So I'm not going to say Roy here. For me, I would say it's Eddie's leather strap kill. Now, this movie doesn't have like a top 3 kill in the franchise for me, but there's some solid kills in this movie for sure. So I liked Eddie's leather strap kill. I like that one where he falls against the tree after seeing his girl got, the shears to the eyes, goes against the tree and then gets the leather strap, the belt around his eyes and then twists it. Everybody always says, oh, at the end he twists the opposite way, and that's like a problem in the, it's like a flaw in the movie. He twists the opposite way, but if you think about it, it could have just been because the tension was so tight on that belt that it was starting to kind of go the other way a little bit, just slightly before it snaps. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he wasn't twisting it the other way. Just saying. But that belt kill is always a fun one. Get the shot of him with like the bloody eyes and the belt on his eyes. It's a good one. It's a good solid one. Like I said, not one of the greatest kills in the franchise, but a solid one regardless. I've always also enjoyed, old hairy arm, gorilla arm Billy, his kill, his death, where he gets the axe to his bald spot when he's, kind of peeking out of the car. And then it zooms in on his eyes like, ugh. I don't know. Something about that kill and that whole moment. Like I never forget that one. That one's fun for me. And then the whole like Vinny flare kill is fun too. When Roy shoves the flare into his mouth. It's a fun one too. Least favorite kill in A New Beginning. So, yeah, to me it's Duke's kill. The guy that works with Roy.
Come on, Roy. Get your hands dirty.
We just find him with his throat, I guess, slit. It's not really that gory. There's like kind of like a little bit of blood there. He's in the car. He kind of falls out when Reggie and Pam find him. That one's probably my least favorite kill in the movie. My kill, though, that I think was maybe the biggest what if in this movie for sure, is the kill that, man, I wish was not cut down by the MPAA. And that is actually Tina's death, which kind of funny. Her real life name is... Her name in real life, I'm talking like this is a video game or something, but her name in real life, the actress's name, is Debbie Sue Voorhees. That's her real name. Her last name is Voorhees, so it's like kind of meant to be. She's a former Playboy playmate. Yeah, it's definitely the kill that could have been, it's already a solid kill, even though it kind of happens off screen. But man, I wish that kill wasn't cut down. How great could have that, if we had Savini working on this and they could have just shown just like a little frame or two of it, how great could that kill have been? Like, damn. But also, when I think about Roy Burns in this movie, I don't know, maybe it's the video game, the Friday the 13th game on, maybe it's that maybe that's why, but I always think of the garden shears as Roy's like choice of weapon in this movie. But yeah, that kill, regardless, even though it's pretty cut away, still a gruesome kill and a fun one. But yeah, so that's like the biggest like could have been great letdown kill was Tina's. So, all right, favorite scene in A New Beginning. Maybe Violet's sick dance moves. Her dance moves were pretty nice. Not bad, Violet, but for me, it's gotta be, my favorite scene has gotta be just the whole barn scene at the end. And I know the barn thing has been done before in the franchise for sure, but it's a great scene. It's intense. It's a good like looking scene with the rain and the darkness and the thunder and everything going on. We've got Pam fighting back with the chainsaw, which I know was done before by Ginny, but still fun regardless. Cuts up Roy a little bit. Tommy gets in on the mess, fights Roy a little bit. He's also trying to deal with like, is this a hallucination? Is this not? And then the great ending to that scene where Tommy cuts off Roy's hand or arm, whatever you want to say. And then I love the sound effect when Roy, it's a small thing, but the sound effect when he falls on the spikes. There's something about that. It just feels so satisfying. The sound effect when he falls on the spikes. Love that. And then boom, the final reveal. I'm a big whodunit guy. Love whodunits. So the big final reveal, and I know it's not that shocking in a lot of ways, but the big final reveal of who was behind the mask. Was it Jason? Was he really cremated? Or is it somebody new? And you find out it's Roy Burns. I love when it cuts later we're at the hospital or whatever, and the cops going through Roy's wallet, and he's got a picture of himself in his wallet. He's just like, damn, I look good. Gotta have that picture in the wallet. That was the picture, you know? But who carries a picture of themselves in their fucking wallet? But least favorite scene in A New Beginning. For me, it would have to be the breakfast scene. Just mainly because I get why it's there. They kind of talk about like, oh man, let's kind of talk for a second about what all went down. But for me, the breakfast scene should have been cut back. I thought that scene was way too long, and I know that would have made the movie like ridiculously short, but they could have added something else, I'm sure. But the breakfast scene was just a little bit too long for me. Probably least favorite scene in the movie for me. But all right, new little segment here. Favorite piece of memorabilia from this movie that I would want, essentially. So favorite piece of memorabilia that I would want from this movie. And for me, I'm just going to go with kind of the obvious answer here, in my opinion, which is, a screen-used Roy Burns Jason mask from this movie. I love the look of this version of Jason, cosplay Jason in this movie. I love it. The bluish coveralls with the blue on the mask, and his like piercing blue eyes are great too. Obviously, that wouldn't come with it. It'd be kind of sick and twisted if it did. But yeah, the screen-used Roy Burns Jason mask. That's the piece of memorabilia I would most want from this movie. So thanks so much, everybody, for watching my favorite and least favorite things in Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, the 5th movie in the franchise. So like I said, it's a fun one. I have a good time with this movie. It's over the top. It's ridiculous with good kills and just, it's a good 80s slasher. But anyways, everybody, if you enjoy horror content like this, then make sure you subscribe. And also, if you want more content from me right now, check out one of these videos next to me, definitely. But thanks again for watching. Look forward to more content like this in the future. And I'll talk to you all in the next one.